Senator De Leon. Senator De Leon, file item 54. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 911 by Senator De Leon, enacting to local agency finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. SB 911 was introduced in response to the findings of the mismanagement of the Los Angeles Community College District's construction program and seeks to provide greater accountability and transparency in the bond fund expenditure process. Although increased reporting requirements are not the panacea to resolving the governance problems, I do believe they're a necessary step forward in increasing public confidence in the administration of taxpayer-approved facilities bonds. When voters approve local bond measures to modernize and build new schools or pay for other public work projects, they deserve to know where their money is being spent and how it's being spent. There should be public access to this information on an annual basis, and it should be released on time. SB 911 has received bipartisan, unanimous support in policy committees. Colleagues, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. LaMalfa. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Samidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Hancock. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye.
Ayes 31, no 0. Senator De Leon moves a call. Thank you, members. That takes us to file item 55. Senator Vargas. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 931 by Senator Vargas, enacting to public employee organizations.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I would like to present SB 931, which prohibits public agencies from using taxpayers' dollars and public funds to pay external consultants to consult a public employer on how to deter or minimize the exercise of guaranteed public employee rights related to employer-employee relations. This bill contains exemptions that allow public agencies to continue to pay for representation before a court, administrative agency or tribunal, or arbitration, or for the payments for engaging in collective bargaining in regards to wages, hours, or other terms and conditions of employment. Existing law leaves open loopholes that allow public agencies to hire outside firms to avoid or minimize the law. The goal of SB 931 is to stop the misuse of scarce public funds from being diverted to outside consultants whose purpose is to minimize the rights of public employees and public employee organizations. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Senator Gaines.
Yes. Let's see now. Is this file item? Excuse me, just a moment.
One moment, members. Senator Gaines, no problem.
Senator Blakesley.
Senator Blakesley on this item, and then we'll return to Senator Gaines if he wishes. Senator Blakesley on this item.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Members, I urge a no vote on this measure. Negotiations are exceedingly complex, require an enormous amount of sophistication, not limited to understanding of the organization, the bargaining unit, and the past history, but also the complex laws of the state of California and the federal government, all of which can imperil the quality of a contract if that information is not in possession of both parties. This ensures that the agencies that are tasked with spending state dollars, taxpayer dollars, have all the necessary information to negotiate in a manner that spends those monies wisely and legally. I urge a no vote on this measure.
Additional debate or discussion? Senator Gaines on this item.
Yeah, thank you very much. I urge a no vote on this piece of legislation. One thing that I found was very interesting is that under this bill, unions are free to use any outside resource as they see fit to negotiate their contracts. Why would we not enact the same sort of advantage on both sides of the negotiation? I urge a no vote.
Further debate or discussion? Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Vargas, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. President. All this bill does is say that you can't use outside consultants to try to prohibit a group from having their legitimate rights protected. That's all this bill does. You would still have the same robust discussion internally. You could still have the same sort of arbitration. You could still consult with attorney. The only thing it wouldn't allow is for union busting. I ask for your aye vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Aye. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. No. Semidian. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Wright. Wyland. Yee. Yee aye. De Leon aye. Fuller no.
Ayes 20, noes 12. Senator Vargas moves the call. Members, that brings us to file item 56. Senator Steinberg not at his desk. File item 57. Senator Correa. Pass. File item 58. Senator Calderon. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 617 by Senator Calderon, enacting to state government.
Thank you, Mr. President. And members, SB 617 updates California's key accountable government law to reflect best practices that have emerged since 1983. The bill is a response to the desire of Californians today for efficiency, accountability at all levels of government. Under SB 617, the state finance director will make monitoring programs a standard part of state operations. The last decade has shown that in the big organizations, even the best administrative systems can break down if not monitored. SB 617 does not tell the finance director how such monitoring should be structured, but as under current law, the director can recommend suitable controls to state agencies with state auditor and state controller input. The bill has no opposition. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian.
Aye.
I. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. I. Walters. Wolk. Wright. I. Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye. De Leon, aye.
Ayes 33, noes 0. Senator Calderon moves the call. Senator Calderon moves the call. Thank you, Senator. Next item, file item 59, Senator Kehoe. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 747 by Senator Kehoe, enacting to healing arts.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Senate Bill 747 is a necessary bill that addresses a pressing public health problem for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Californians. The measure ensures that medical and behavioral health care professionals receive one-time continuing education on how to provide the best health care for the needs of LGBT Californians of all ages. In 2005, the legislature required that all continuing medical education courses include training in cultural competency for care across ethnic, linguistic, and gender-based lines. This bill adds LGBT cultural sensitivity to that group. Many LGBT Californians often feel unwelcome or uncomfortable when seeking medical care, and providers, even sensitive providers, are not always completely sure of how to respond to certain patients and offer the right advice. The bill addresses the issue in the same way. It does not impose additional costs to care providers. It has broad support, and I would ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. Lamaffa. No. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye.
Ayes 22,
Calderon, aye.
ayes 23, noes 11. Senator Kehoe moves the call. Members, that takes us to file item 60. Senator Wolk, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 835 by Senator Wolk, enacting to public contracts.
Mr. President, SB 835 will extend the sunset date for the Best Value Construction Pilot Program at UCSF until January 1st, 2015, and requires the university to provide another report to the legislature by 2012. Extending the sunset date on the successful pilot program for 3 years will enable UCSF to continue to utilize this unique approach to completing additional projects despite the budget reductions. There is no opposition. I ask for your aye vote.
Any discussion, members? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. Lamaffa. Aye. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. I, Wright. I, Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye. Calderon, aye. Anderson, aye.
Senator Woke moves a call 35-0. File item 61, Senator Carol Liu. Ted Lieu, beg your pardon, sorry. Thank you. And the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 863 by Senator Liu, an act relating to workers' compensation.
Senator Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Madam President and Senators. This bill is a straightforward and common sense approach to several challenges facing the liens process in workers' compensation. Currently, California's workers' compensation appeal system is being flooded by a deluge of liens. According to a recent report by the Commission on Health, Safety, and Workers' Compensation, 450,000 liens are expected to be filed this year. This volume of liens is making the entire process not work correctly. This bill does two simple things. First, it requires that liens are in writing, and second, it creates a reasonable statute of limitations of when these liens can be filed. There is no opposition. It's received bipartisan support. We serve the request and I vote.
Discussion, members? Seeing none, Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. I, Anderson. I, Berryhill. I, Blakesley. I, Calderon. I, Canella. I, Corbett. I, Correa. I, De Leon. I, DeSaulnier. I, Dutton. I, Emerson. I, Evans. I, Fuller. I, Gaines. I, Hancock. I, Harmon. I, Hernandez. I, Huff. Kehoe.
Aye.
I, Lamalfa. I, Leno. I, Ted Lieu. I, Carol Liu. I, Lowenthal. I, Negrete McLeod. I, Padilla. I, Pavley. I, Price. I, Rubio. I, Runner. I, Samidian. I, Steinberg. I, Strickland. Vargas. I, Walters. Wolk. I, Wright. I, Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye.
Ayes 36, no 0. Will Senator Lieu will move a call. Senator Evans. You prepared to take up SB 930? You're going to pass. Senator Samidian? The Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 29 by Senator Samidian, an act relating to vehicles.
And Senator Samidian, before you start, I think we have a full House now, so we will close the roll when you're finished with your presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, this is a measure jointly authored by myself with Senator Huff. It is a Samidian Huff bill. It brings some framework and regulation to the use of red light cameras around the state. Most specifically, it specifically provides that red light cameras should be used for safety reasons only and should not be used as revenue raisers. It also provides for some due process protections which currently do not exist. And it particularly provides for two things that I think are helpful and important, Madam President, members. Number one, it requires a ticket or a notice to indicate quite clearly that you are not obliged to either incriminate yourself or some other third party who may be wholly unknown to you as a precondition to avoiding the ticket. And number two, if you find yourself, as one of my constituents did, caught up in a misunderstanding for a ticket that really should not have gone to you but should have gone to some other driver for some other car in some other location, it provides that there should be someone at the other end of the phone who can help you untangle that without putting you through several bureaucratic hoops. Again, Madam President, leaves red light cameras in place, but simply provides some protection against abuses. I would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Discussion, members? Seeing none, Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. Lamalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. I. Carolou. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. I. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. Vargas. I. Walters. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. Yee. Yee, I. Evans. I. Huff. Strickland. Walters. Wyland.
The measure passes. We'll close the roll. We'll skip file item 62. 65, Senator Negrete McLeod. Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 349 by Senator Negrete McLeod, an act linked to teachers' retirement.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. SB 349 is the annual CalSTRS housekeeping bill, which makes technical, clarifying, and non-controversial changes to various sections of the Education Code administered by CalSTRS to improve and continue effective administration of the system. The bill has received bipartisan support and no opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Discussion, members? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson. I. Berryhill. I. Blakesley. I. Calderon. I. Canella. I. Corbett. I. Correa. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. I. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Hancock. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. Kehoe. I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carolou. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. I. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. Vargas. I. Walters. Wolk. I. Wright. Wyland. Yee. Yee, I. Wright, I. Correa, I.
Ayes 35, noes 0. The bill is passed. Senator Kehoe, returning to the item we just passed by, which is file item 64, you're prepared to present. Mr. Secretary, please read the bill.
Senate Bill 207 by Senator Kehoe, an act relating to state claims, making an appropriation therefore, and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This is a state claims bill, SB 207. It is an urgency measure. It would appropriate $557,000 from various funds to the Victims' Compensation and Government Claims Board to pay 211 claims accepted by the board. It left appropriations on a 9-0 vote. Department of Finance supports. There's no opposition. Ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Anderson. I. Berryhill. I. Blakesley. I. Calderon. I. Canella. I. Corbett. I. Correa. I. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Dutton. DeSaulnier, I. Dutton, I. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carolou. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. I. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. Vargas. I. Walters. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. Yee. Yee, I. De Leon, I. Alquist, I.
Call the absent members.
Strickland, Walters, Wyland.
Ayes 37, noes 0 on the urgency. Ayes 37, noes 0 on the bill. The bill is passed. Thank you, members. We are now on to item 66. Senator Harman, ready to proceed. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 386 by Senator Harman, enacting to state parks and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. SB 386 would set specific notification requirements that must be met by the Department of Parks before a state park may be closed. Now, in January of this year, the governor said the administration would be forced to close state parks as a budget solution. Just days ago, the long-awaited list of proposed parks to be closed was released. There were 70 state parks on this so-called hit list. So we now know which parks are on the chopping block, those 70 that I mentioned. What we don't know is what alternatives were explored by the Department of Parks to keep these parks open to the public. That's what this bill, SB 386, addresses, transparency. There needs to be a standard process established when we look at state park closures. This bill, SB 386, will require the Parks Department to do the following: identify the park unit that's proposed for closure, identify the approximate date of the proposed closure, and list information on its website on how to contact the department in writing if an individual or other party wishes to indicate in writing to the department an interest to enter into negotiations for a contract to lease, operate, maintain, or provide a concession. SB 386 would also require the Department of Parks to respond in writing to all inquiries that are received. The department currently has authority to look into alternative funding measures, yet there's little sunshine on this process. This bill is a first step in shedding more light onto efforts to keep our parks open. The parks are the properties of the citizens of California. The department should look at available options to keep them open. If the department has rejected alternatives to closure, taxpayers should know why. SB 386 would provide notice and transparency to park closures. This bill was approved by the Natural Resources and Water Committee on a 9-0 bipartisan vote. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion. Senator Pavley.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. Members, I rise in support of Senator Harman's measure. Of course, as chair of the Natural Resources and Water Committee, just closing any state park is objectionable. But we're faced with possible realities in the future, and I think Senator Harman's bill just provides some transparency in the process. It requires that on the website, 30 days before even consideration of a closure, that it would be public information, because maybe there is a plan B, maybe a cooperative agreement with the local government or a nonprofit or whatever. This is just, given the realities of the situation, government transparency, so we can collaborate together to keep all our state parks open to the maximum extent possible is something I can support, and that's why the Natural Resources and Water Committee voted on a 9-0 vote for Senator Harman's bill. I ask for your aye vote.
Further debate or discussion, members? Senator Evans.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, rise in support of this bill, members. I supported it when it came up for a vote in Senate Natural Resources Committee because it just made sense. It's common sense. On Friday, the governor released his list of park closures. Out of 70 parks to be closed, 20 of them are in my Senate district. 20 parks. And I cannot overstate the economic impact that this is going to have on some of these very, very small communities who have now lost forestry as an industry, and they have lost fishing as an industry, and literally the only industry left now is the tourism industry, which is completely dependent on state parks. So this very common sense measure will allow people to know when the park is going to close, which park is going to close, and what the process is that they are now going to have to face. In addition to that, there is at least one state park, Annandale State Park in Sonoma County, that is on the list for closure, where a local nonprofit has stepped up to the plate and already has 1,000 volunteers that are going to work on either preventing the closure of the park or at least maintaining some part of the park being open. So this bill will go a long ways towards helping that kind of an effort, and I urge an aye vote.
Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Harman, you may close.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is indeed a sad day in California when we learn that many parks in California, over 20 in the Senator's district alone, are scheduled for closure. So as I've indicated, and the two other senators in support of this bill spoke, this will provide transparency. It'll provide an option for the department. There are nonprofits, there are concessionaires, there are private individuals that could hopefully take over, maintain, and operate some of our state parks and keep them open for the public's use. I ask for your aye vote.
Members, could I have your attention, please? Is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call? Yes. There is. Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Desaulniers. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harman. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Semidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Vargas. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee, no. Correa we have as aye. De Leon, aye.
Call the absent members.
Corbett. Negrete McLeod. Strickland. Vargas. Walters. Wyland.
Ayes 33, noes 1 on the urgency. Ayes 33, noes 1 on the bill. The bill is passed. Thank you, members. Members, at this time, I'm going to ask that we lift the call on items that were placed on call while we had some members absent. Following the lifting of the calls and the final resolution on those items, I will ask if there are members who have bills we passed over earlier today that were on Senate third reading, anywhere from file item 16 to file item 66. But we're going to begin by lifting the calls on the half-dozen bills that are outstanding. File item 54, Senator De Leon. Mr. Secretary, please lift the call.
Correa. Kehoe. Aye. Leno. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Walters. Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye. Correa, aye. Mr. President.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. File item 55 by Senator Vargas. Mr. Secretary, please lift the call.
Leno. Aye. Semidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Walters. Wolk. Wright. Wright, aye. Wyland.
Ayes 24, noes 12. The bill is passed. File item 58 by Senator Calderon. Mr. Secretary, please lift the call.
Leno. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Wyland. Wolk, aye. Wyland.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. File item 59 by Senator Kehoe. Mr. Secretary, please lift the call.
Leno. Aye. Runner. No. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Walters. Wyland.
Ayes 25, noes 12. The bill is passed. File item 60 by Senator Wolk. Mr. Secretary, please lift the call.
Leno. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Walters. Wyland.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. File item 61 by Senator Liu. Senator Ted Liu.
Huff. Aye. Strickland, Walters, Wyland.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. Members, that completes the items on call. I'm going to go first to Senator Corbett, then to Senator Evans, then to Senator Negrete McLeod, then to Senator De Leon. These are on items, and then we'll pick up the next ones after that, starting with Senator Corbett. Members, again, these are third reading items, 16 through 66. Senator Corbett, what file item, please?
Item 42.
File item 42. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 684 by Senator Corbett, enacting to workers' compensation insurance.
Thank you very much. Senate Bill 684 requires a choice of law provision that identifies California as the law to be used to resolve any disputes that arise in California in workers' comp insurance matters. This measure also contains a forum selection clause that identifies California as the appropriate venue for any proceeding regarding a dispute that arises in California. Senate Bill 684 ensures that a California state agency has been granted the authority to resolve a dispute. It would be subject to an alternative dispute resolution between employer and workers' compensation carrier. This measure is also important to our California small businesses that don't have the resources to travel outside California to dispute arbitration clauses. Senate Bill 684 ensures that our small businesses are protected and subject to the same law in which their policies were written. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Berryhill. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. No. Samidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Vargas. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee. Aye. Correa. No. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Canella. No. Rubio. Aye.
Ayes 23, noes 13. The bill is passed. Senator Evans, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I have 3 items that are eligible to be taken up this afternoon.
How about we just go to one item and then we'll go to other members
That is fine with me.
Thank you, Senator Evans.
I would prefer if we could take up item number 34, SB 10.
File item 34. Members, this is SB 10. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 10 by Senator Evans, enacting to veterans and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill actually passed the Senate and the Assembly unanimously with no votes last year and was vetoed by Governor Schwarzenegger. It's a bill that is sponsored by the Veterans Home Allied Council, which would allow the Allied Council to represent veterans who reside in the home in matters before the legislature. Currently, the veterans who have fought and died for our First Amendment freedoms are required to go through the Veterans Administration in order to lobby their own legislators. This bill would change that and provide the veterans themselves a voice in their own representation before the legislature. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Senator LaMalfa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in strong support of this bill. This is a great common sense measure that in this fiscal time helps save money and bring local control. So I commend Senator Evans for bringing this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator LaMalfa. Senator Evans, you may close.
ask for your aye vote, please.
Thank you. Members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection? Seeing and hearing none. Ayes 37, noes 0 on the urgency. Ayes 37, noes 0 on the bill. The bill is passed. Senator Negrete McLeod, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
Yes, Mr. President, I would like item 48.
To take up file item 48, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 704 by Senator Negrete McLeod, enacting the Healing Arts.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Senate Bill 704 seeks to restructure the examination process for applicants seeking marriage and family therapists, MFTs, and clinical social workers, LCSW, licensure. Senate Bill 704 requires applicants for MFT and LCSW licensure to pass 2 exams, a California Law and Ethics examination and a clinical examination. The California Law and Ethics examinations would be taken during the registration period while the applicant gains experience hours. The clinical examination would be taken once the registrant has completed all supervised work experience, education requirements, and passed the California Law and Ethics examinations. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion, members? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 37, noes 0 on the bill. The bill is passed. Senator De Leon, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Mr. President, to present SB 238.
File item
35.
File item 35, members. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 238 by Senator De Leon, enacting to athlete agents.
Thank you, Mr. President. SB 238 seeks to protect California student athletes from unscrupulous athlete agents. These dishonest athlete agents operate with very minor oversight, and their decisions jeopardizes the NCAA eligibility of our student athletes as well as the universities. This bill will protect our state's student athletes by requiring the courts to suspend or revoke the business privileges of an athlete agent convicted of violating the Miller-Ayala Athlete Agents Act. Additionally, there would also be a requirement for the disgorgement of all gross revenues received in connection with that specific violation. SB 238 is supported by Los Angeles City Attorney Carmen Chuchang, the University of Southern California, the University of California Office of the President, as well as the California Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. SB 238 has received bipartisan support and passed with unanimous vote in Policy Committee. Members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion, members? Debate or discussion? Senator Fuller.
I'd just like to commend the author for this bill. It's very needed from my perspective and my work in school administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller.
Senator De Leon, you may close.
I respectfully ask for an aye vote, Mr. President.
Members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. Senator Pavley, for what purpose do you rise?
Yes. Back to Senate Bill 502, file item, I believe it was 40. Does that sound right? Yes, it is.
File item 40, Senator Pavley. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 502 by Senator Pavley, enacting to public health.
Yes, Senate Bill 502 is sponsored by the California WIC Association and proudly jointly authored by Senator Kevin De Leon. It seeks to improve infant nutrition in California hospitals. We're requiring that maternity hospitals have a posted infant feeding policy. Infant feeding policies that emphasize the importance of breastfeeding have been shown to help prevent the onset of chronic health conditions and diseases, as well as later growth and development problems such as obesity. This is a common sense measure. It has no opposition. The California Hospital Association is now neutral on the bill with the amendments that were taken. It will save money and improve the health of California children while giving hospitals a very reasonable amount of time to develop their infant feeding policies. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Is there any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call? There is objection. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist, I. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakeslee. I. Calderon. I. Canella. Corbett. I. Correa. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. No. Emerson. Evans. I. Fuller. No. Gaines. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. No. Kehoe. I. Lamalfa. No. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. I. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. I. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. I. Walters. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Berryhill. No. Canella. Correa. Aye. Emerson. Gaines. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Walters. Wyland. Emerson, aye.
Ayes 29, noes 6. The bill is passed. Senator Wolk to be followed by Senator Calderon, Rubio, Kehoe, and members at that time, we will be obliged to take up the consent calendar. Senators Wolk, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
File item 26.
File item 26.
Sorry about
Mr.
that.
Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 214 by Senator Wolk, enacting to infrastructure financing districts.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. The governor today put forward once again his proposal on redevelopment agencies. What I'm putting forward is a mechanism for financing infrastructure capital projects. No matter what happens to redevelopment agencies, whether they are left in place as is, whether they are eliminated, or whether they are reformed, infrastructure financing districts are yet one more tool to use for local government to use to finance infrastructure. They've been on the books for many years, infrastructure financing districts, yet they have been rarely used. So this bill is an attempt to reform them in a way that would assist local government, again, with a financing tool. I believe that these would be useful for underserved communities. The vote threshold is one of the things that we're going to change. We're going to make the agency body or the district body, the way that they will raise financing is also by majority vote. They can finance facilities that are outside the district. The districts can exist for longer, for 40 years. The local agencies that participate that create the infrastructure financing district are the ones that have to consent to be part of it. And most importantly, the infrastructure financing districts don't touch any school share of the property tax. I think that this, removing the voter threshold, extending the time, and making these other adjustments will give locals the flexibility and decision-making authority to do what they can for public infrastructure financing. There are many cities and communities that do not have access to redevelopment agency financing, and this is just one more tool that they may find useful as well. So I would urge your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Senator Anderson on this item.
While it's very clever in its approach, at the end of the day, I think it simply can be said that this is an end round on a 2/3 vote. I urge a no vote.
Further debate or discussion? Senator Wolk, you may close.
This is not an end run on anything. This is an attempt to give local communities one more tool to put forward economic development and public infrastructure projects. We ought to allow them to do that and enable the local communities to do that, and this is a method of doing that. I ask for your aye vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson? No. Berryhill? Blakesley? No. Calderon? I. Canella? No. Corbett? I. Correa? No. De Leon? DeSaulnier? I. Dutton? No. Emerson? No. Evans? I. Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Hancock? I. Harmon? No. Hernandez? I. Huff? No. Kehoe? I. Lamaffa? No. Leno? I. Tedlu? I. Carolou? I. Lowenthal? I. Negrete McLeod? I. Padilla? I. Pavley? I. Price? I. Rubio? I. Runner? Smidian? I. Steinberg? I. Strickland? Vargas? I. Walters? Wolk? I. Wright? Weiland? Yee? Yee, aye. Runner, no. De Leon, aye. Wright, aye. Berryhill, no.
Ayes 24, noes 13. The bill is passed. Senator Calderon, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Item 21, Mr. President.
File item 21. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 621 by Senator Calderon, enacting the insurance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, SB 621 is a Department of Insurance consumer protection bill. It will prohibit disability insurance policies from containing what's called a discretionary clause. It will also aid the insurance commissioner in barring the approval of disability insurance policies with such clauses. In 2002, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, NAIC, adopted a model law for states to use in banning the use of discretionary clauses. The NAIC's purpose is to assure that health insurance benefits are contractually guaranteed and to avoid the conflict of interest that occurs when the health carrier has unfettered authority to decide what benefits are due. This is a needed consumer protection measure. It has no opposition. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Debate or discussion? Members, is there any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call on this item? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. Senator Rubio, I believe you have file item 50. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Mr. President.
Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 250 by Senator Rubio, enacting to environmental quality.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, SB 250 makes a very small but important technical change to the California Environmental Quality Act. It has bipartisan support. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Is there any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call on file item 50? There is objection. Please call the roll.
Alquist? Aye. Anderson? No. Berryhill? Blakesley? Calderon? Aye. Canella? Aye. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. De Leon? Aye. DeSaulnier? Aye. Dutton? Aye. Emerson? Aye. Evans? Aye. Fuller? Aye. Gaines? Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Hernandez? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye.
Members, a roll call is underway. Your attention, please.
Lamaffa? Aye. Leno? Aye. Tedlu? Aye. Carolou? Aye. Lowenthal? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Aye. Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Price? Aye. Rubio? Aye. Runner? Smidian? Aye. Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Vargas? Aye. Walters? Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Weiland? Yee? Yee, aye. Harmon, aye. Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Gaines, aye.
Ayes 35, noes 1. The bill is passed. Senator Kehoe, what item, please, Senator?
Item 43.
File item 43. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 801 by Senator Kehoe, enacting to the Political Reform Act of 1974.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. SB 801 strengthens the Political Reform Act and enhances taxpayer and public interest protections by requiring all political appointees to file with the FPPC a copy of their Statement of Economic Interest. The FPPC is the primary watchdog agency for the Political Reform Act, and this bill increases sunshine and transparency by ensuring that the FPPC receives and keeps a copy of Form 700 for all political appointees. It's supported by Common Cause. It left appropriations under 28.8 and 4-0 out of committee. I would ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Sumedian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members.
De Leon. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Strickland. Walters. Wyland.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. Members, that completes the work on the daily file today and takes us to the consent calendar. A number of items on the consent calendar, file items 124 through 133. Mr. Secretary, would you read file item 124? Members, we will take a vote on the first item on the consent calendar, and then I will ask if we can substitute what I hope will be a unanimous roll call.
Senate Bill 146 by Senator Wyland, enacting to Healing Arts.
Any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call? If not, ayes 37, noes 0. The bill is passed. Members, is there any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call on the remaining items on our consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 37, noes 0. The consent calendar is passed. If there is no other business, Senator Steinberg, the desk is clear. Senator Kehoe, before we go to Senator Steinberg?
Just an announcement.
For purpose of announcement.
That Senate Appropriations will resume the hearing immediately after adjournment.
Senate Appropriations will reconvene immediately after we recess. Senator Steinberg. Senator Steinberg.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Senate session will resume at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. Let's plan to go at least 2 hours to work through the file, bills that are getting out of the Appropriations Committee, if any. This week, we want to clear the file as much as possible. Check-in session tomorrow and Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. Then, members, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Thursday at 9 a.m.